this episode, I'm joined by Carl Morris, the CEO and co-founder of sustainable online marketplace, Cress. Hi, Carl. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Andrew, good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, Carl, really interested to know more about this. Father of a little boy myself, so it's going to resonate, as I'm sure it's going to with a lot of our listeners as well. We're all about pre-loved clothes, amongst other things, specifically for children, aren't we?
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit more about that. What's the problem that you solve with the company mission, and what inspired it?
Yeah, really good question. So I'm a parent. I've got two little girls. They're now 5 and 3. We've been going a couple of years through, finding ourselves and before trading. So they were really young when we set out on the idea, 3 and 1. But being a parent is where this started. And the inspiration came from first-hand experience of the sort of situation that we're in. And I call it a situation because we've got a couple of problems, and I think they're manageable, but I'm trying to create a solution to those problems that's better for the parent, that's better for the planet, that's better for the pockets, that's better for the product. And the inspiration came from a first-hand experience. There was a couple of years ago, there was an event that we wanted our children to be formally dressed in. I'm a hands-on dad, but never really got involved in purchasing clothes. I think that's general for a lot of fathers out there. But it was a specific event that I wanted to dress my kids. So I went out into the high street, nothing special, and bought them clothes head to toe, specifically for the event. Yeah. And the first thing was an emotion of, wow, that's expensive. Like I said, to reiterate, general high street, but price tag, 2 children around £300 top to toe, shoes, jackets, etc. But a cost. So that was it. That was the end of the story, and nothing really happened. It was 3 months later that my mind started looking from a business point of view when a second formal event, I say, well, let's dress them in these. They didn't fit. They'd grown out of them so quickly that the sleeves were too short, the shoes were too small. So the second part, of the sort of journey of the idea of Cress sort of kicked in, which was like the problem. Wow, the expense versus the use was just a formula starting to work in my head that just started to not work. Still needed a little bit more understanding of it, but I was fully of the thinking that there's a solution in place for this, Lee, and that there was a sort of afterlife of that was happening. So at this point, there was no real concern, but it was the case of putting them on, reselling platforms, Facebook Marketplace, Vinted, Depop, looking at the younger sibling having them. But through seasonality, that didn't happen. And then going to the platforms, well, they're still on there today. So whether that's an audience thing, 24 months later, they've not moved. And one of the platforms, Marketplace, I was negotiating for so long and trying to arrange a visit that for a parent, another factor came into play was that I just didn't have time, So I've teamed up. I've got a co-founder who's an e-commerce experienced business owner, my partner, Catherine, so obviously a parent as well. We created Cress to create an audience that was 100% parents for children's products. And hopefully a solution to the problem, but to sort of package that all together. The last piece of the jigsaw was when we checked where these items were from. 4 items were from China, 2 were from Turkey, And essentially, with a high price tag, the impact on the environment and not just the production, the material, the people, the travel, etc., that's gone into these garments, they essentially had half a day usage and couldn't resell them or essentially swap them. So mind blowing.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I was talking to someone else about a similar situation actually, where used clothes just get put on a massive heap somewhere out in the ocean or whatever it is, and they just don't get recycled. They just don't get used, and it's crazy for the environment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and let's quantify it. So we've taken that experience, we look into it, and we research, and 10,000 items go into landfill every 5 minutes in this country. That's the volume.
10,000 every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes. So that's the situation. Now, on top of that, taking all the families in the UK, it's reported that the average family, taking everybody into account, is around £8,000 to £10,000 short on what they need to spend to facilitate everything in their family. So we've got two things unfolding here. One is the pure wastage and impact on the environment, but also let's go back to that, economic financial factor. We can't afford this. We're spending our money in the wrong place, wasting resources and creating an impact. And our view here is that there's got to be a better way, but not just a better way without us having to change our behavior. Go back to that Facebook scenario or the marketplace. I don't want to negotiate for 48 hours, and I don't want to have to wait in with my kids for somebody who might not turn up. It's about removing the hurdles so that we can solve the problems, and that's why we exist. And yeah, that's the loads of factors.
That's really
there.
Interesting. Yeah, and People and Planet podcast, that's ticking a few of the boxes there, isn't it? Really.
Right.
Definitely. Tell us about the solution now. What's the product? Unwrap it. What's included? How does it work?
So we're a marketplace. So we don't create stock. We allow parents, businesses to retail on our platform, and consumers and parents can go and browse and purchase. But first and foremost, and going back to the problem, we identified, and you might relate to this, Lee, that every household per dependent has around £500 worth of quality goods, not just clothes, but accessories, books, toys, that are still unused, but quality.
Yeah. So
really what we're trying to do here as a marketplace is give an option to unlock that. How can we reuse this? How can we sell it? And this is about giving an opportunity and a platform that not only reduces the waste, but let's unlock this cash. Instead of just saving money and buying pre-loved, less of an expense than the high street, why not give parents the opportunity to make money? So by being a marketplace, parents can make money from the unused goods. Other parents can purchase that quality items at a cheaper price. And that's where the financial economic method really works. So we work in a marketplace format, but we understand, and the addition to our marketplace that's unique is parents are time poor. So traditionally, to unlock those items, to the value of £500, I would traditionally, in old models or alternative models, have to go to the post office 50 times to move those goods. So we have a golden service where we understand parents don't have that freedom and that time to action that you can send us one bag, put up to 30 kilos, come straight to us, and we upload and price and photograph and steam, etc. And we'll do that heavy lifting. Obviously, there's a commission involved to do that, but our understanding and experience now are that parents are more than happy for a price tag to unlock those funds, which are then just channeled straight into a bank account, and in the knowledge that the goods are getting a second and then sometimes a third, fourth life. And that's really what our USP is. and how we operate with a service that's that takes the hassle and the hurdles away from retailing pre-loved items.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because these items are good quality still. I'm thinking of my little boy. He's only 18 months old, and he's growing daily. Or it seems like he is anyway. And you're thinking about expensive items like, say, coat jackets, that sort of thing, or these all-in-ones that kids have for the winter and stuff like that. And of course, seasonality as well. They're only going to get one of those seasons out of them, because the next year, then they're completely, their ankles are out and all that sort of stuff.
Well, that's right. And I think the first solution with anything, whether it's us as parents or adults or teenagers or children, the first thing and the first solution is to buy quality if possible, so that it has longevity to begin with. But children really come into a place where that solution doesn't quite work, is because they just grow out of them rather than wear out of them. And that's where Cress comes in. We're a model that facilitates the movement of those goods.
So just to be clear then, so I get a up to 30k bag of clothes, and then send it off to you guys. You guys sort it all out, and you guys market it for me. I pay you a commission for that service, and read the benefits.
And you don't pay anything up front. You create a shop. We like the fact that you, Lee, would be able to go, this is Lee's shop. You can communicate that to your audience as well, because I think that works, that benefits both us, but moves your goods quicker. And you don't even pay the commission. You just receive the non-commissioned funds straight in your account as soon as the product is purchased. On top of that, though, we don't want to be just a dumping ground, and we understand that there's a cost to holding goods. So we also have an agreement with the parent that after 12 months and a couple of price reductions, that if we can't sell that good for any reason, then we donate it to a family that needs it for free. So instead of us having a tail that just ends up in landfill, and we have a real integrity point that we go, well, look, listen, we've tried our best. It hasn't been sold. We've reduced the price. Let's give it to somebody in need. And we work with Wood Street Mission here in Manchester to facilitate that for us. And we do our due diligence. And even Wood Street Mission then don't go to landfill. They go to fabric recycling. So as soon as it enters the Cress process, we know that we're not just adding to those 10,000 items. And that really is what we're about, is giving a channel of integrity that something somewhere to the best of our ability will happen with these products, and that's what it means to us. So
lovely. What about your story then? What's your background? How did you arrive at Cress?
That's a really good question. But predominantly my expertise lies in marketing, so branding, customer positioning, bringing brands to customers, creating growth in businesses, and creating new markets and entering new markets with brands. But it's been 100% hospitality. So Revolution Bars Group for a long time, helping the team grow that business, opening numerous bars across the UK. Exited that into my own business, which we started from scratch, Yard and Coop. So a buttermilk fried chicken restaurant, which we've grown and retracted and growing again now. But a real sort of understanding of financial models, an understanding of customer retention. And I think the hospitality industry, one real key aspect that's given me is our businesses have been based on customer experience and really understanding the loyalty and the love that you can have by giving a great experience, not just a great product, but that whole journey. And I utilize those skills in moving this forward. But in hospitality, I mean, we all went through that COVID stage of going, what's next and what are we doing? That was really tough for hospitality. But I had a really young family, Lee, and I was spending a lot of time on the motorway and the opportunity was to extend that even further and be away even more. But I had 2 young kids, and my partner fell ill at the time, so was receiving treatment in hospital. And I really had that real internal look myself and decided I don't want to be on the road. I want to be here with my family. Catherine's illness made us as a unit really look at what we wanted to achieve as far as careers are concerned, but not only what the financial side of that was, but what we were actually doing with our time. And that led us to, it happened at exactly the same time as the experience I was talking about, purchasing the clothes, and how the idea came about. Exactly the same time as Catherine was ill was when we were evaluating our own lives, and the two really started to create a synergy where a real purpose to our time and our expertise felt this is the perfect time to execute this. So, let's support families, let's support parents, let's try and enrich children's lives. Really worked for where we put our energy, and that's why we started Cress. Not so much as what business can we do. It was more about what's right for us and what do we want to achieve. So Cress became not just an e-com business that's solving problems. It became a channel that we can put our energy and focus into something that helps other people.
Nice. Get it. Yeah. So, obviously you talked there about the personal challenges that come with that, but, with any startup, it's rarely plain sailing. What about the business challenges as well to get to where you are today? How have you navigated those?
Yeah, great question. So I think especially at the beginning of most businesses, you have so many ideas, and Cress wanting to be this business that supports and helps. I think our biggest challenge was, what do we actually do? I talked about the golden service. We work with PTAs and schools, and offer them a free commission-free school uniform platform where they can retail their uniform. We give away free books on every purchase. We have initiative after initiative after initiative that supports. But as a growing business at really early stage, I think the biggest hurdle, Lee, that we confronted is we can't do all this, and it was about navigating 2 things. One is finding what works and testing the market with different initiatives all under the umbrella, but also understanding that we have to home down. We can't wash ourselves across all these different directions and have success, spreading ourselves too thin. So the first and the biggest sort of growing pain was, who are we and what do we do and what do we focus on? And I think we've gone down paths and come back, and that's been the biggest hurdle really, is we want to do all this, but we can't. So what do we do first? How do we do it? Where do we put our time, energy, and available finances to create a difference, but also create growth? And the way that we've done that successfully is we created a real value portfolio and a real vision to the values. So the Cress brand itself is an acronym for our values. So it's creating a community is the C, reducing waste, the R, extending the life of products is the E, shopping sustainably is the S, and giving parents the opportunity to save and make money is the other S. And as long as we adopt a policy and an initiative that continues to enhance or work towards those values, then we know we're not going off track just to create success and growth. We're sticking to our core and what we believe in and what the business should exist for. And that's given us the structure to be able to try these different things, but really home in on what's successful and give us the opportunity for growth.
And that leads into the next question, really. What does come next? Anything exciting that you can share for the listeners?
Yeah, our world is hugely exciting at the moment. So we are driving forward with PTAs and schools. We have initiative to digitalize pre-love school uniform for everybody. We have a vision really that parents shouldn't be buying things full price, full stop, and in 5 years' time, this will just be the norm. Our way to travel that across the parent landscape is via the schools, and offering every school in the UK the chance to digitalise their uniform, pre-loved uniform, for free via Cress. So that's happening, and we're rolling that out as we speak. Yeah. And secondly, we're doing an investment round. We're now in a position where we know who we are, we know where we're going, and we know what we need to achieve. So we're going to investors and asking them to invest and believe in us. We're halfway through that investment round, so it's looking extremely successful. But the real exciting thing there is not just the financial injection into the business, but a lot of these investors are great team players that will come into our board, into our business, and support us with growth. And that, to me, is probably the most exciting thing, is bringing the extension to the team that brings a vast wealth of knowledge and experience to us and will assist us to grow. But so some great exciting things that are happening right now.
So the school thing's being rolled out now, and that's like kind of imminent, is it?
Yeah, so we've got over 100 schools that have contacted us directly to be part of the scheme. We only launched it 24 days ago, so so it's a huge uptake, and but you can see why. It just means there's huge benefits to that. It means that the school can retail 24 hours a day. Parents can shop at home and access what the school has. It's a free service. We're not taking anything from that at all. And it allows parents to, I guess, without any stigma, physically go to a moment where they are purchasing pre-loved school uniform. The stigma still exists in it's reducing, which is great, but it does still exist. So this just removes that completely.
Absolutely. Takes away those barriers, those stigmas, like you say, as well, and just makes it nice and easy. Carl, that's all we've got time for, but I've really enjoyed learning more about Cress. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's great to speak to you, Lee. Thank you very much.
Guys, this has been Carl Morris, CEO and co-founder of Cress. Thanks again.